are live.
Hello. So we've had some exciting things happen today, so we're jumping in here real quick. Did you say hi to everyone?
I said, hi, all you wonderful people. Are you talking about Jack?
Okay. Dining on a Dime Cookbook Volume 1, 35% off right now for our pre-order sale. The books are coming in about 3 weeks.
We hope. Still
3.
waiting on the final estimate.
Page 229, fajitas. We have 35% off right now for pre-ordering because we ran out when we moved to Volume 1. And Volume 2, which is a blue cover now. Okay, Volume 2 is a blue cover now. People were a little confused on the whole Volume 1, 2 thing. So.
Looks nice because now we have a red, a green, and a blue.
Ooh. So what color should the next book be? Yellow?
Sure.
Yeah, start doing secondary colors.
Orange?
Well, you gotta make sure you don't make it look like a weird yellow.
A weird yellow, a nice yellow.
Yeah.
So today we're making fajitas from Volume 1, page 229. Now, here's what happened. We went and looked at a house for Mom 3 hours ago, and I did not get the homemade tortillas that I was planning on making done because we've been talking to the realtor and counting money and getting everything situated so that hopefully she can get a house, this really nice house we just found. Okay, oh dear, I have no power. Do I have power?
Do you need will that one pull it through that cord? We can get you a bigger cord if you
Yeah,
need.
it should. Shouldn't it?
You two look great in your new kitchen. Thank you, Martina.
Thank you. Except now I don't think I have heat.
Is there any heat off of it? Like, can you touch it?
The light's not on.
Wait, pull it in the other plug, Jack. Sometimes
Try the
one
other
of them
plug.
doesn't.
Well, yesterday I was using the beaters in there.
Might be a second change of plan.
I'm sure if a lamp cord could run a hot plate.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might melt the cord.
I was wondering if we should get the other cord.
There, Chris.
Okay, so now we're having technical difficulties. Okay.
It's in the garage
Let's see. Can
in that
you
box of tools by
bring
the
that
car
back?
door.
Bring that over? Okay, just a second. I'm so sorry. Today just really isn't going. Oh, and I forgot my apron.
Everyone says hello.
So we were looking at a house for Mom. Keep your fingers crossed.
So while we're waiting, of
She's
course,
making an offer tonight. Yeah.
you can tell that story. Go ahead.
While we're waiting, what?
We had a question about what is that
Yeah, it's not
cool
on.
looking thing on the counter?
So I was going to show you what this cool looking thing on the counter is. It was my deal of the day. Last Friday, I got it.
Yeah.
We went to Billings for the first time for living here to the big city. We had to, we don't have a bank here yet, so we have to wire money for our books. And so we had to go wire the money for the books. And the bank had just opened
Yeah, no, it's
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So we didn't
Otherwise, we'd have to drive to Colorado 5 hours to wire money.
to get the books printed again. We're going crazy
Um,
printing books so that we have plenty of books for
Christmas.
Christmas.
So,
We're not sure, but we requested.
Well,
Okay.
The light's on now, so it should be working.
No, it's not.
No,
No.
it's just a reflection.
Oh wait, no, it is on. Wait,
It is?
it's on straight on. Yeah. You
so
can
we
see
still
it.
can't get my burner done.
Wanda says
yeah.
it's a normal day in the life of Tara.
I tell you, yesterday, so all we were going to shoot was 2 videos yesterday. And it took us 2 hours just to set up the lights. 2 hours just to set up the lights. So then, of course, by that time, I was already exhausted. So then we go to try and do the videos. And I'm not kidding. I thought I was actually going to have a panic attack. I've never had a panic attack in my life. And I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Okay. So we have no heat. So
How was your day?
we're having chicken sandwiches now for dinner.
We are resorting
Well,
to-
hold on a second.
We changed your costume.
So we may just have to change to a talk show.
This possibly is a problem.
No, it's
We
when the light is on.
I was using it
It's turned
yesterday.
on.
The light is turned on, so it's definitely getting power.
Okay.
It's not plugged.
So
Nevertheless.
let me show you my cool deal I got Friday. All right. So look at this little gem that I got Friday. All right. You guys see that? There you go. Look at that. So I'm getting stuff for the new studio kitchen, which is going to be made this weekend now.
Whoa.
And look at this cute little thing. Is that not adorable? And it was $5 at the thrift store.
Careful, if you put your arm over there, it is still on while we see if it does anything.
So there you can see right there, $5.
Everybody's loving it. That is adorable.
$5. So,
Can't quite see it.
oh, you can't quite see it. Okay. So I'm going to take and clean out. These aren't stickers. The wording is actually like painted on there. So I'm going to hand clean each of these with a little bottle cleaner and refill them with spices for the new studio. So I thought that was super cute. We got a couple of pictures. Dave, turn the camera around and show them my cool picture that I got that I absolutely. Now this was what I was actually dreaming of for our house, okay? So this is, when everybody says your dream house, this was actually my dream house.
We're
But-
going around in circles.
So I learned something about Tara that some of you might appreciate, because I think some of you, like me, were saying, what do you mean it's not your dream house? And what she means is the house that you imagine in your dreams, not that this house is a terrible house or anything like that. And I thought that this is not my dream house means I don't really like it, which I think a lot of you probably thought that too. So just
No,
for clarification.
But this is what I actually had in my mind when I was looking for a house. Okay, so don't get seasick. Dave's turning the camera around. Okay.
If you're seasick, close your eyes for a sec.
Okay, close your eyes. 1,
Whee!
2, 3, 4.
Alright, you should-
Okay. Now, can you zoom in enough, Dave, so they can see?
Well, here. Sorry. I don't have...
He's going to see if he can zoom in for you.
Oh, inside of this.
So we found this picture at the same thrift store in Billings.
Oh.
And, oh, can you see it?
Can you zoom in on it?
Well, that's the zoom in. That's as far in as it can go. This camera's not.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
That's a
well, you
little
can
better.
kind of see it. Now, I take it off the walls, but I had to do acrobats to get it on the wall. I really had to do some
There we go.
some crazy. So we got that really cool picture. It was $20. Normally I wouldn't spend more than 10, but I really, really loved it. And oh, you can't see it very well. Well, I'll do it with a video. Okay, you can spin back around,
All
Dave.
right. Spinning back around.
And
Probably just on the forehead.
so yeah, we're dead in the water. So okay, so we're dead in the water with my burner. So we're just gonna do a chatting show, I guess. Now I don't know what God wanted us to chat about, but we'll
So,
just start chatting.
Genevieve says, how about a meal suggestion for a power outage with this smiley face? It's
Well,
crying
what you do
tears.
is you go to your pantry and you look for the nearest cereal box, and you grab a bowl.
I told you should have had Mike making cheese sandwiches and tomato soup.
But you gotta have power to make cheese sandwiches.
No, I go back there and do it while you're up here.
I see.
Easy breakfast for dinner.
So we went to
I could be
Billings.
back there going, woo.
So we went to Billings and we hit the bank and then
We
spent
hit it. Not with
spent
the
an-
car, right?
spent an hour at the new bank getting the wire transfer because it was the first one they'd probably done at the bank. And then we went to 2 thrift stores. And then we went out for our dinner date to a really good barbecue place that I loved. Oh, I love barbecue. Oh my goodness.
We
I
were
think
going to go somewhere else that was less awesome, but the less awesome place cost more than double.
yeah, we were like, yeah, there's no way. So we went up there and I was going to go to Hobby Lobby because, you know, when you go to the big city, you got to do all these things now that we live, you know, out. And so we were going to do all that. Well, why did we have to get home by 3? Something was happening, so we had to be home by 3. Why did we have to be home by 3 Friday? Oh my goodness, every day's running into the next.
I don't think we had to, but there was something. Wasn't Dave's interview or something? Was it? No,
No.
He was at his interview while we were gone.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Well, anyway, we had to be home by 3 for something, so we were like, well, okay, we'll just go ahead and head home. So I didn't get to go to Hobby Lobby, but that's okay. I don't need to be spending money anyway. And so that was our big trip to Billings Friday, and I got that cute little thing. I was super excited. All right, so people asked about, oh yeah, does this have a light? No, it doesn't have a light switch. Okay.
Well, I was checking to see. Well, the little light on the front was on, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
light on the front was on,
So the light on the
Yeah.
So for those asking, before we gave up on the hot plate. So by the way, if you're here for the fajitas, apparently we're not going to be able to cook them today.
Yeah.
Sadly, our hot plate bought the farm, and the reason that means it died. The reason why what we did to test it is we put it in 2 different plugs on 2 different breakers, and
2 different cords.
2 different breakers that we know we've been using today for other things, so that they both work. And there's a light on the front that came on, so it shows that the hot plate knows that there's power, but for some reason it's just not getting
Yeah.
heat. I looked to see if there was a reset button or something, and there wasn't. So
Yeah.
So
we found a house for Mom today. We went and looked at it 3 hours ago, and we're going to make an offer after the show. So keep your fingers crossed, guys. Keep your fingers crossed. We were really impressed. It was actually every single thing on her list, except for a wood burning stove, which you can put in yourself. But every single thing on her list was there. And it's super cute. So we'll see. Hopefully they will accept her offer. We'll see.
So a couple people asked, did we move to Montana? No, we moved to Wyoming, and we are close to Billings, though. Billings is less than 2 hours drive.
Yeah, it's our closest big city.
And we're probably, 15 miles from the Montana border?
Yeah.
So, and it was a beautiful drive. Somebody said, I forgot who it was,
It was
that
raining
after
the
a
whole
while,
way.
it won't seem like so far. It really didn't seem like very far.
It went fast, didn't it?
It did. And it was kind of, it was raining some, and it was overcast, and it was just one of those days that feels really relaxed and, comfortable. And it's funny because in Colorado, we had 300 days of sun a year.
Yeah.
And no trees in the yard. And sun is awesome, but it was nice. It's nice since we've been here to see a few more overcast days now and then.
Yeah.
Because a mixture of overcast and sun has
Yeah.
really been nice.
Actually, the trip went really fast. We were commenting how fast it actually went just to drive up there and back. And we were going to try and go to Costco and get a new dolly because I've been doing all this furniture refinishing stuff. And we thought, man, this new dolly would be really helpful. Well, we filled the car up with thrift store finds. So we didn't have room for the dolly. I guess we could have tied it on top. I didn't think about that. We could have tied it on top. Now we need to take those wrench things. What do you call it? The ratchet straps when we go up there in case we got to tie something on top of the car.
Yes. Kathy wants to know if we're impressed with all the storage we have. It's beautiful. Your friend Kathy from Montgomery, New York.
So, my goal is to not move anything to get to something else when organizing. That's my goal. And at the moment, we're not there. We're still unpacking. Although we got the garage, we could park 2 cars in the garage right now. So that's good. You
could probably park more if we rearrange things a little bit.
The big garage, I've got all kinds of furniture that I'm working on refinishing, but I'm actually working on it right now, and I should have most of that done by the time the books come, I think. And Mom, if she gets this house, then she's going to be moved out. So keep, pray that this is a good thing, that, if she is supposed to get it, that she'll get it, guys, because the housing market is crazy. We're in Sheridan. Whoever asked, we are in Sheridan.
She was asking about the house your mom was making an offer on.
Oh yeah, it's not too far from us. So we're working on all of that.
I'm going to momentarily share the link for the chicken recipes, that one of which we were planning to use today.
Yeah. So if you're
And-
just joining us, my heating element went out, so now we're just going to chat real quick.
But that recipe is really easy, and we'll probably make it on another show soon,
Yeah.
since we already prepped for it today.
Yeah. So
Actually, the house is very if she gets it, it seems like it's very well suited for her.
Yeah.
It's nice because she's had old houses that weren't in very good condition much of her life. And as those of you who've seen the Penny Pinch and Mama videos, and I think she wanted something that was, not too old and in really good shape. And this one is. Actually, a lot of the ones that we've seen up here are. So it would be a really nice exhale for her after all these years.
Yeah.
So
wow, Frankie's been cooking her way through volume 2. Oh my goodness, how fun. I had thought about doing that as a show, is cooking every single recipe in the book and doing that. But after my almost breakdown yesterday, maybe I shouldn't do that. So
sorry, were you wanting to go back?
I don't know. What we're having go ahead. What we're having a problem with is finding an easy way to shoot cooking videos that just isn't so complicated to set everything up, but that will still get us good video. I ordered another different tripod so that maybe I can just do it in the kitchen on the counter, put the camera on the counter. But we're having a hard time because until we are got our studio in the big garage, how to do that. So somebody asked about Dave's job interview. He got the job, but he has another interview. He hasn't started the job yet, and so he has another interview tomorrow for a job that he actually really wants more than the job that he's already got. So he's really keeping his fingers crossed and praying that he'll get actually this job for the interview tomorrow, and that they'll let him know he's supposed to start next week on the job he did get. So that they will let him know, because he doesn't want to start a job and quit, the next day and say, oops, sorry, type thing, So
as far as how far is it from us, it's not very far. Every in this area, everything is
close.
Pretty close.
She could live in Billings and she'd still be close.
But as far as in the Sheridan area, everything is just a few minutes away. So that's what's really awesome. Is I suspect that the boys have been loving going on little adventures without mom and dad. I mean, of course, Dave's been able to do that, but he just didn't want to so much in Colorado. But here they've been going out and adventuring around, and I'm sure they'd probably go over to her house quite frequently.
Yeah. And she, oh shoot, it just went right out of my head. There's something I was going to say. I can't remember.
For those of you who've been around a long time, and answer to Joanne's question, Dave is 18. For those of you who remember when he was little and he was doing was it the fudge video?
The fudge video. He was so cute. Go pull it up and show the fudge video.
The fudge video has gone viral. Well, actually, I can't play the audio on my computer because it's plugged in.
Never mind. We can't show it because of my.
We have a fudge video when Dave was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And he was so cute, and I'm sure that's why it went viral.
Yeah. Okay.
We shouldn't say that though. He's going to ask us for
royalties. Okay, so start pulling questions. People are starting to do some questions, so go ahead and start pulling those. Somebody asked, once they pay off their house, what should they do next? Start saving for your retirement. So make sure you have an emergency fund. And what I would do is get 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up, and then start investing for retirement, however you want to do that. If it's real estate or if it's IRAs or stocks or however you want to invest, do that. We're not an investing company, so I'm not going to advise you. There's people way better than us that are good at that.
Well, we're also kind of non-typical in terms of the things we would probably choose. So we're not entirely sure what we would recommend on that at this point, right? Well, like you said.
Yeah. So anyway, so that is, I would start getting your retirement then funded after that. And we we are working off paying this house and then funding the retirement. So here's the thing for us. We get criticized a lot, but we could sell our business right now and we could actually retire. I mean, we would be fine. We aren't selling our business because, well, we still can work. So there's no reason for us to do that. But,
Let's go.
huh?
And inheritance.
And inheritance. Oh, see, the kids are wanting the inheritance for the business.
Hey, what?
So, so now what we're doing is we're focusing on getting this house paid off, and then we're going to start focusing on saving for retirement for that. And here's the thing. We are making 10 times the amount of money we did, 20 years ago, even 10, 15 years ago, even 10 years ago. So if we can keep our business going, which we intend to, but I mean, we should be able to fund that not too quick. So
Wanda's right. The business wouldn't be the same without you. You are the business. Very true.
Aw, thanks. Although there's other people who could make a whole lot more money at it than we are. We're not good at what we have not efficiently done our business at all. But
And a lot of what it is not just the live show. Although, to be honest, we don't intend to quit the business anytime soon. But just what Tara, I think, is saying is
yeah,
if we had to, we could.
yeah,
I mean, we could quit and then retire.
yeah.
basically.
Ooh, Julie's only 2 months away from paying off her mortgage. You go. What is the most profitable part of our business? So book sales and ad revenue from YouTube, and we have ads on our website. Those are the two biggest things that we sell is our print books, and then ad revenue is where we get most of our money.
Yeah, a lot of it is a lot of it has really been the books. That was what we started to do anyway, was publish books.
Yeah.
And publishing, the thing about publishing that's helpful is you do a lot of really hard work, but once you do certain work, you can sell that product again continuously, and then you can create a new product. So that's kind of why the books have been really good. And the thing about the books too is if something happened over the years, we've had it where we just had a website, and then we had a website and a newsletter, and then we had different other ways of selling along the way, and then people hear about it through the videos and through the shows and all sorts of other ways. And so we constantly are kind of continuing to go. And over the years, we've thought, well, what if something happens to YouTube or Facebook or the newsletter thing or whatever? There's always some other thing. So the thing with the books is it's something that we own that we can sell regardless of how it is that we do that.
Yeah.
And for business, that's kind of a good thing to do.
Yeah. So our business, I mean, for those of you who are curious, I mean, if you just inquiring minds want to know. So our business setup is we do YouTube videos, and we send people to our website from the YouTube videos to buy our books and to get our recipes for free. You don't have to buy our products, guys. We have over 1,500 pages on our website of free material because we wanted people who could not afford our books to be able to get all the information for free. So all the information's there. You just have to read the articles on our website. And so we get ads from people going to the website. And then we have a newsletter that if you're not signed up for our newsletter, get signed up for our newsletter, guys, that we send out our articles to help people. Like last week we sent out back to school ideas and that kind of thing. So seasonally we send out a couple of times a week a newsletter to help people find our articles to help them save money and get out of debt. And then when we have specials on our books and sales and that kind of thing, then we announce that in our newsletter also, so that people have an opportunity to know when we have the sales. Because we have a lot of people ask, well, how do I know when you're having a sale? That's exactly how we have the sale. So Jan wants to know about the 2022 planner. Okay, so just an hour ago, Mike got the printer emailed to see if we can get it in time to get it before the end of December or mid-December. I emailed them about 3-4 weeks ago, and I guess they never got my email. So there was a mix up there. We had a problem with the planner because of the move. We simply ran out of time to just even deal with it. And so we had totally flushed the planner and said, no, we're not going to do it. But I've had so many people asking me about the planner that I'm like, okay, let's see if they just print 500 or 1,000, maybe they could get it here in time. If they just do 500 or 1,000, maybe we could get it here in time. So he just emailed them today. So hopefully we can get that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll make an announcement probably in 2 weeks and let you know for sure.
Well,
But
Tara had inquired about them, but did not get an answer.
then we had so much going on.
I've been working directly with them, and I think maybe they missed her email or something, and I knew I could get through directly. So I sent that today in hopes that we can still get that done, because I know a lot of people are asking about the planners. The planner's a little bit sketchy because if we have to predict how many ahead of time we're likely to sell, because after a certain point in the year, nobody wants them anymore.
Yeah, we don't want to overbuy because then we can't sell them, you know.
So that's an interesting thing on the publishing is a lot of our stuff is evergreen, so it's useful all the time. Planners are useful in the 1 year that they're dated for. I mean, they're useful in other years, but, you know.
Dana gets our books for wedding gifts. Yes, guys, these are great gifts. They're 35% off right now. For pre-ordering, they should be in 3 or 4 weeks. We hope to get the shipment. I know we said September 15th, but we had a cover issue, and so we had to have the cover reprinted because we lopped off mom's name on the side. Oops. So they're getting that fixed. Somebody asked, why is mom not staying in the basement? Well, she never wanted. Yeah, in the Nan cave. She goes by Nan. My kids call mom Nan. She never wanted to live in the basement, and we never bought the house for her to live in the basement. So that's never been actually something that we were really planning on doing. So she doesn't like living in the basement, which is fine. She likes high ceilings. She likes a bright house, and this house we found is really bright and has really high ceilings. And I was a little jealous, I'll be honest. I was really liking her kitchen. I was looking at that thinking, can we do that to our kitchen? Because her kitchen layout is really good. And I was looking at the refrigerator because I knew she wouldn't like that refrigerator to see if it would work for us. And then we'll buy her a new refrigerator and then we can get rid of ours. So we
knew ours was an older one when we bought the house. And it would be good for somebody who likes the kind it is, except that it makes a noise all day long.
It rattles all day long.
And so it works okay, and so we're using it. But if we could swap it out, we probably would.
Yeah.
So
she had never intended on living here, and we knew that when we bought the place. And so everybody's like, well, why did you buy such a big house? Well, okay. What people don't understand about this house, it's a stinking big house. I totally get that. But everything for daily living is on the top floor. So there's actually only about 2,200 square feet on the top floor that we use every day. So I'm not going to be cleaning a lot. I'm not going to be, going up and down the stairs a lot. Yeah, the office is downstairs. But for me, I sit on my laptop and do everything on my laptop. So I don't need to go to the office very much. So really, the downstairs is just extra space for us. So when we have company come over, so like when Alderman Farms visit us, or Out of Goshen, or whoever's going to visit us, or Jonathan, hint, hint, hint. Not that we're hinting.
Karen says maybe you could film at Jill's.
Well, actually,
Step aside, mother-in-law. We're using your kitchen.
Her kitchen is actually way better for filming than ours. I mean, it's like 1,000 times % better. So we might do that until we can get it till we can get the big garage set up. So we'll see. But okay, next question. Oh wait, let's go back to the goat milk. Bring back goat milk gifts. Nothing compares. Oh, you guys!
I had to talk to her and say, because she thought that we weren't able to do it because of bookkeeping issues, but we just have to set it up differently. But the way we had it set up was kind of not really fully in place because Ellie was trying to decide if she wanted to do it as a business separate from ours. And so we would do it differently if Tara restarts.
So here's what happened. So Ellie wanted to start her own business and she really liked doing the goat milk gifts. And she said, well, can I have this as my business and you just make the soap and I'll buy the soap from you? And I said, yes, that's fine. But what happened was she moved out into her apartment and she just does not have the space to run it in her apartment. And she wanted to stay in Colorado. So she said, well, I'm just not going to be able to keep doing this. So I said, okay. I said, well, I'll take it back. And so, yeah. So maybe I just need to do some prepping videos and we can get the cash coming back in from the prepping videos. And then we can get the studio done.
So what we were looking for?
We made a ton of money on those dumb prepping videos I did last year. We made a ton of money. And I was like, well, maybe we should just do more prepping videos. But we don't want to be a prepping channel. So
I mean, no offense to people that like prepping, just that I don't know.
Yeah, that's just not
some people get really uptight about it, and we're just trying to be practical about it and give people practical ideas. So
we're practical preppers, and so what happens is when I do practical prepping videos, then the intense preppers come in and they sit there and do nothing but criticize me. Well, I ate peanut butter that's 35 years old and it's perfectly fine. And I'm like, seriously, people. And so the amount of people that were jumping all over us and all of that for the prepping videos, it almost wasn't worth it. But after I went back and looked at how much ad revenue we got from it, I was like, well, wait a minute, maybe it's worth having people holler at us for the prepping videos. So
one thing I didn't hear exactly what Tara said on the house thing, but the idea with the bigger house is for us to have a house that's easier to use for what we need, and also that where we can have the business separated.
Yeah.
And we also were looking at a property that had space for Jill so she could stay there as long as she needed to. But her idea was to get another house at some point. So the space that she's using in our house right now is likely we would use that for guests and things in the future.
Yeah. So,
and we were also looking toward the future in terms of we'd like to not move again. So we'd like to have big family gatherings and stuff at our house, and this would be perfect for that.
Yeah, because we thought, if Beach and Ellie stay in Colorado and they come to visit us, or they get married and then they have their own family, then they can just have that space downstairs, and I don't have to clean it except for when people come and visit, or twice a year go in down and dust it or whatever. It's not like I'm cleaning all 4,700 square feet. I'm only cleaning 2,200 square feet the majority of the time. So,
and there's a couple things. First of all, yes, Genevieve, the basement, actually the part that Jill is in is actually already set up as a separate place.
Mm-hmm.
And if we had it sitting empty, we could rent it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is that when we bought our last house, we were thinking about where we were in life at that moment, and we did not anticipate the growth of the business.
Yeah.
And the business ended up growing us out. The business was taking up more than half the house, and that was a tiny house. And so now we were thinking we were trying to anticipate that changes in the business that might end up using more of the house. Mm-hmm. And as Tara said, for the part that if there's a part that we're not using right now, we don't have to clean it very much if people aren't in it that much. So right now, though, it's most of the space has a use that it's being used for.
Yeah. And we have a housing shortage here in Sheridan, just like everywhere else. And we could rent the spot that Mom's in right now, the 1 bedroom and the living room and the kitchen. We could rent that for $1,000 a month. So if we wanted to, we could use that as income also. So we didn't just buy a house just to buy a huge house. We bought it with practical reasons in mind. So.
Well, and there's another thing. The property itself, we were trying to create some space between us because of sort of the issues that were driving Tara crazy. It was driving us all a little bit crazy, but Tara a lot crazy, being real close to the other houses because of the barking dogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's a point where I was realizing as we were looking, we weren't quite finding anything, I said maybe we should spend a little more and focus on the fact that we have to figure out how to pay for that a little bit more than to not ever find a place. And because for 5 years she was really super miserable with the dog barkings, and I think it was bothering us all, but Tara more than the rest. Here, I think it'll expand a lot of what we do business-wise with living on a dime and other things that are related to living on a dime, because it's easier to think about things without the distraction of things like the barking dogs all day and the struggle with that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what we were thinking. But largely we kind of really wanted to be able to have more family events and kind of get together, things like that.
Well, and people
and
like
have
out
the
of
business in
Goshen.
a completely separate building.
And Alderman Farms, if they came to visit, they could stay down there, or Jonathan or whoever.
Friends,
so.
a lot of friends like them. Also, like our son is living in an RV right now, and he can just come up and we have a spot for him to park. And it was, to be honest, when we looked at it, we've seen a lot of places that have the things that this house has, but they were a lot more expensive, like a lot more expensive. And so when we saw it, we thought, man, this seems like a really good price for what it is based on what else we've seen. So the idea was to be able to get life into a more comfortable place where we can focus more on the business instead of focusing on the kind of negative things that were taking our minds off of those things. So
So right now our focus is to get the new studio up so that we can make hopefully videos easier. I don't know. We'll see.
Is gas cheaper?
So is gas cheaper here? Yes, it's cheaper here. Actually, Wyoming is a lot cheaper. This is why Wyoming doesn't exist. So if you're wanting to move to Wyoming, it doesn't exist. So don't worry about it. But, for the people who are already in Wyoming, that doesn't exist. There's no corporate tax. There's no personal income tax. The gas is cheaper. The property taxes are cheaper. And for us moving from Colorado to here, we don't have to drive as far to go to groceries and stuff like that. So we actually figured that just on the taxes alone, we would save 10 months worth of our house payments alone. So our house payment is almost taken care of with just saving on income tax and corporation tax for us. Almost.
Yeah, there were some things that we were talking about thinking, ooh, that's a little more expensive. And they were like, wait, but this is a lot less expensive. We were kind of doing the balance and seeing. So Dave was all excited because the deer are back.
Oh, are the deer
A couple
back
of days
there?
went by and we didn't see them at all.
Yeah.
And now they're back. In fact, Jill said yesterday she was just sitting in the little living room and watching TV or whatever. And she said that one of the deer just came up and put her nose against the glass and was looking in to check everything out. It's funny, you get, deer snot on your windows, but they seem pretty nice, sweet, when they're not eating your garden.
Yeah, I got to get the rest of my plants planted from moving and I was going to get a garden set up this fall for next year, but I don't think that's going to be happening now. I think we're getting too far.
It's fajitas, right?
Did we pay cash for our house? No, we did not. We had to get a loan, but we anticipate having it paid off in 2 years or less.
It kind of depends on how, like if we're pretty aggressive, less. But we were trying to leave some room for trying to figure out what's going on with the other family things. So just to make sure everything's in a good place. But yeah, we want to be very aggressive about it.
Yeah. Dave's eating rice.
It was intended for the show,
but since the show bombed with all of that.
Dave should come demonstrate how he made rice in the rice cooker.
Oh my, that's so hard. Actually, most people probably don't know how to do it.
Don't know how to make rice? No, they probably don't. So we're loving it here. Actually, now we're looking for a church. We've tried a couple of different churches.
We went to a concert the other day in the park. It was awesome.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of things that we've been doing, but the concert in the park was, our town has a lot of activities in the summer months, and they had, Building 429 came for the concert, if you know who that band is. But
They were really good.
they had a bunch of family things outside with food and just people getting together and talking and having a good time, and bounce houses for kids and all sorts of stuff. And it was all paid for by the people who put it together. And then there was a comedian, and then Building 429 concert, which was really, really great. And our little park down there has a little ice cream stand. So we went down the other day. What were we doing down there the other day? Just walking around? Oh, yeah. Okay. We were doing some other things the other day. And found out that the ice cream stand is still open. So yeah, actually, Courtney, I love Building 429 too. Particularly the Fear No More song is really awesome.
Yeah.
But they had a tons. I was surprised. I think I remembered every one of their songs, and just
Yeah.
it's funny. You start to realize how old you are when you think, yeah, I remember this song and I remember that song. And I said, yeah, we did that one 20 years
I know.
ago.
I was like 20 years ago. I thought
Are
it was
you
just like
kidding?
4 or 5 years ago.
So
But Kathia from France is here. Kathia?
yes, hello, good to see you back.
Oh, thanks for joining. Mike would love to go back to France, but I don't think he's going to ever go again.
What?
Sorry.
I will definitely make the effort.
No, I'm sorry. The world's gone to Hades in a handbasket. I don't think it's going to happen.
I absolutely love France. I do. And Ireland, and actually pretty much everywhere we've been, I've loved. But-
Somebody asked, how are we going to heat the house? Just like normal. The heater is downstairs. So you heat the downstairs and then everything rises. But we're pretty,
If you guys don't mind, would I be able to move down there?
Maybe. Yeah.
So we have a gas.
Maybe.
We have a gas furnace, and there's also an electric one, which we don't intend to use because electricity is expensive.
Mhm.
Tara's always wanted to have wood just in case there's some sort of emergency and we don't have gas for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But those are our options at the moment. And it's funny because I've been out trimming trees and realizing I've been pulling a whole lot of dead wood off different parts of the trees and because they haven't, I think they maintained it as well as they could, but there were some things I think were just really difficult for.
Well,
the
and
people that
fires
were
are a
cutting it
problem here,
last.
so we want to get some of it taken care of.
So, and I
So-
like cutting trees, so I've been out there cutting a lot of it, a lot of the
Mhm.
dead stuff mostly, and then some places where it's just overgrown and covering up the house or something.
Mhm.
And so that'll be nice to have that wood for that as well. Is it smoky here? It is still somewhat smoky, but not nearly as bad as it has been.
Today it has
Mhm.
reduced a lot.
Basically, the sunrises and the sunsets are still red, but in the daytime it looks kind of normal out, except the sky looks a little dirty.
Yeah.
Right.
Alicia wants to know if you've been to Canada. You've been to Canada. I would love to go to Canada,
I've
but
been to
they
British
won't let us
Columbia.
in now.
I want to go to Alaska.
Yeah, I've been to BC and I really liked it a lot.
I was determined this fall I was going to go see fall colors, and now we moved, and I don't think I will. I was like, I don't care. I am going to see the colors this October. That's
Actually-
what I wanted to do.
Alicia, when we, of course, I think you're in a different part of Canada, if I recall, but I was in British Columbia back when I worked for Washington State University, and we went in the fall to Penticton, and it was gorgeous. Wow, it was really gorgeous.
Mom said she's been to Canada too, and she really liked it.
But there are a lot of other places in Canada we would absolutely love to go.
You've
So-
been to Canada?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you go to Canada?
Dad and I went to Niagara Falls and up in that area.
Oh, Niagara Falls. Oh, huh.
Wait, did I see BJ? Oh, that's a different BJ.
No.
Like, what? Oh, it's BJ Stevens. I see.
So,
Yes, we are liking
Oh.
the new home. It's been...
do,
It has been, we're still kind of in the midst of setting things up and getting business stuff together. But I think when we think about it, when we stand down a little, then we're really appreciating it.
So Jack doesn't have to wear masks to school, but I'm telling you, he's not going to be wearing a mask to school. My child will not wear a mask to school, period. But did you ask permission if we could share BJ's story that happened to him this week about the mask?
To ask him?
Yeah. Did he say if we could share it?
I didn't ask. I don't.
Do you have to undisclose
Do you think
the
we
job?
shouldn't?
I don't think he'd mind for any reason.
Just don't say where he works, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So you don't think he'd kill us,
I would
probably?
just warn people a little bit.
So I have a warning about masks. Okay, BJ, I'm really sorry if we're not supposed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Mostly if you work
So-
at the place.
My son was at work. My oldest son was at work. And he called and he said, guess what happened to me today? And he said, I was at work and he wasn't front of a whole bunch of people. Whose phone is that?
Me,
Oh.
even.
He was at work and he works in front of people a lot and talks in front of people. And he said, all of a sudden I started getting really lightheaded and the room started spinning. And he said, then I started throwing up and throwing up and throwing up. And then he passed out. And his boss was right there and everything. And he was like, what is going on? And so they called the paramedics and they came over and they said, yeah.
He passed out.
They said, these masks, he said, you suffocated yourself. He was like, what? And he said, these masks, we have been having person after person getting suffocated from these masks. And they had fabric and plastic on the inside and then another thing of fabric. And he was suffocating himself wearing a mask. So I'm like, you know what? I have all along been like, my kid is not wearing a mask to school, period. And even more so now, I couldn't believe it. So you guys make sure on your masks that you're not getting the cloth ones that have plastic because you could suffocate yourself.
Well, when we heard that story, we were thinking, who would put plastic in there? Because obviously it would prevent stuff from coming through it, but plastic prevents air too. So that's what we were surprised about. It was kind of weird, but we've what mainly our thinking with that was we just didn't want. I think it would be emotionally disturbing for Jack, and so the last year in school, when we had the option to send him or not, we wanted to send him, but we didn't send him because we didn't want him to have that. Feeling of kind of oppression or whatever. But anyway,
so and we've already had that thing going around, and so it was not a big deal for us. I understand some people, get really sick, but it's just amazing how there's no flu this year. Isn't that surprising? So anyway,
so a number of people have asked,
did we like
since
the
we
bidet?
raved about how much we love the bidets in the old house, did we ever get them set up? Oh my goodness. They are set up.
Finally this week, after a 2-week ordeal.
Thank goodness.
They are set up, but
What do you think of the bidet, Dave?
My bum has been freed, guys.
Your bum has been freed.
Oh my goodness. It is the best feeling in the world.
What kind of feeling is it to use a bidet, Dave?
I don't know. It's great. It's great. It's heavenly.
It's hilarious. The two boys, App and Ellie, absolutely loved the bidet. I thought we'd fight for them to use it, and they were just like, "Oh, my buns just feel so fresh."
Yeah, so I ended up running into a great amount of difficulty putting them in, and I was thinking, what's wrong here? And I was like, the valves are all different sizes at our house here, and oh wow, this. And I went in multiple times and kept buying new supplies and improvising and reconstructing different parts of the plumbing to do it. And after 5 trips each to Home Depot to try to get those two done.
And one day, not quite one day, but
I thought, I wonder if the company that makes this bidet has an option if your pipe is the different size than the one at your other house. And I said, yeah, I was wondering if you have something like this. And they said, why do you want that? And I said, well, just because I'm trying to connect this, but it doesn't fit. And they said, oh, you're supposed to connect that on the other end. So I had the wrong part connected to the wrong thing. And I didn't think when I took it apart to take a picture of it, because I thought I remembered in my head how I had put it together, and I mostly did not disassemble it. So I was trying to put it in backwards. So we have them in now. Everybody's absolutely loving them, and that's great. BJ is okay now. I'm glad he didn't hit his head when he passed out.
oh man.
But he's okay now.
Our email for Living on a Dime, Pam, is editor, editor, editor @livingonadime.com, or you can go to livingonadime.com and click the contact form up at the top, and that's how to email us.
Des, good to see you again. We're using your videos for encouragement to pay off our house. Seems harder for us to put extra money toward paying off the house than other debt we had. Yeah, what's funny is it's hard to think of the mortgage as debt because you probably had rent or mortgage all your life.
But put it in perspective. Keep it in perspective. Okay, so first of all, we got a testimonial that one gal said, I started doing what you said, and I just put $10 on, and then I found $100, and then I was able to put that on. And she said, before I knew it, I was able to pay off $17,000 in just 12 months. And she said, you guys really inspired me to do that. But Mike was looking at we got our mortgage to pay the first of the month. And he said, you know what? He said, if I can just pay one extra mortgage payment, that cuts off 3 on the end.
When I figured that
So
out,
put it in
I
perspective.
suddenly got excited. The other thing I was
Yeah.
realizing is I looked at how much, if you look at your mortgage statement, it breaks down to principal and interest and other things. And then another place you can have it break down which portion is principal and which portion is interest. And I started thinking, whoa, the interest is that much, especially if you're in the first 10 years of if you have a 30-year mortgage, in the first 10 years, most of your payment is interest.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, wow, so if it was paid off, you wouldn't have to pay the interest at all. And really, you wouldn't have to pay the other part because it's paid off. So I just started thinking, wow, we're paying hundreds of dollars in interest a month. And that was really encouraging because I realized, like at the time, I think our mortgage was about $1,100. And I realized that, oh no, it was actually cheaper on the previous mortgage. Well, anyway, when it was $1,100 at our last house, I realized that if I paid $350 or something, it took off $1,100 at the end. And I started thinking, wow, I would happily trade $300 for $1,100.
Mm-hmm.
So then in my mind, I would think, could I pay an extra, at least that much each month? And it just got to where I was thinking, ooh, we have these bills. I'm not really sure. There's a couple $100s that I'm not sure if I paid this extra, what we would do with this couple $100, but it always seemed to work out because that couple $100 was on regular daily normal expenses that you have control over, but you don't think you do.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found
but just think about that junk you have laying around. You could probably sell $500, $1,000 worth and save 3 mortgage payments.
There was a lot of that. We did a lot of that as much as we could as well. But I just started getting excited thinking, wow, if I pay off an extra $300, then it's taking off $900 to $1,200 that we won't have to pay later. And I guess to me, that kind of thinking in my mind was thinking, it's like you pay a small amount to get a large amount, or at least not to have to pay a large amount later. And I think that was where psychologically I really got excited about it.
Yeah. So somebody asked, I couldn't see the name, but somebody asked, has the bidet actually saved money on toilet paper? Yeah. It's cut our toilet paper use by 3/4. Yeah. By 3/4. So, yeah.
What kind of bidet? The one is a Luxe bidet. L-U-X-E.
I just they were like $25 on Amazon.
I forgot the other brand.
Yeah.
And they both, basically you just have to hook it up to the water supply between the valve and the toilet tank. And it comes with a little adapter that you can use, and it's pretty easy to do. And then, if you read the instructions, and then you take off the toilet seat and put it down and put the toilet seat back down, and it holds it on. That's all.
Yeah.
It's really easy. The first time, I think it took about an hour to put it on because I had no idea and I was carefully reading the instructions. And the second time, it took about 20 hours to put it on because I wasn't reading the instructions. No, if I hadn't had something backwards the second time, it would have taken about 15 minutes to put it on. And at first, Tara really wanted to put them in and nobody else wanted them. But now when we sold the house and we took them off, because we knew, first of all, we liked them, but we also knew the other people wouldn't want them. But during the 3 or 4 weeks we didn't have them at all, the boys were screaming, "Oh, yeah, where's my bidet?"
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a link for it?
We don't have a link right now, do we? We should go grab one.
Yeah.
We don't have one at the moment, but we can get one on our Amazon store.
Oh, I found it right away.
Oh, you found it?
Do you still need toilet paper when using the bidet? Well, so there's places like Egypt that don't even have toilet paper.
Well, she says to dry with, and
so
that's ideal, yeah.
I know, but I was answering the question.
Okay, sorry.
Places like Egypt, they don't even have toilet paper. That's all they use. So technically, no. If you want to drip dry, you don't need to. I mean,
What?
we use it to dry, but
Ms. D says, have you seen the one that has a dryer and a heated seat?
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
What?
Is the water cold? Yeah.
More expensive.
You know, the funny thing about it is, well, actually, there was one. I looked because the other day when I looked online to see what I was doing wrong installing that one, I realized there are a couple of models that are more fancy than ours. And one of them has hot and cold connections if you want to do that. Although that would be a little harder because most toilets only have a cold going to them. But the thing about the cold is it was really bizarre at first. But after a couple of times, it doesn't seem weird anymore.
Yeah,
So,
that one that has heated seat, heated water, and air dryer, $400.
$400.
$400.
But when you think about it, okay, so if you got the one with the heated water and the heated
But
seat,
it paid for itself.
we were spending I know don't have a cow, but we were spending $75 a month just on toilet paper when we had my niece living with us and BJ living with us. When we had everyone at home, we were spending $75 a month on toilet paper. Well, okay, so our toilet paper bill's been cut by 75%. So let's say we spent $25 on toilet paper. That would pay for itself. First of all, it paid for itself in just over a week for us. But even if you got the fancy dancy one because you couldn't handle the cold water or whatever, the first time it's a shock, but after that you get used to it. But you would pay for it in just like 2 or 3 months if you were spending a ridiculous amount on toilet paper. So yeah. But
yeah. Barbara, Mike is excellent with math figures. I just told my son and daughter-in-law that when they do buy or build in Texas where they live, I know to add extra every month. We paid ours off years ago by doing the same thing. Great retirement years we were able to enjoy. Yeah, I think, well, another thing about housing, if somebody hasn't bought one already, is we always buy a lot lower than what we can in terms of mortgages. Well, of course, the idea is we don't want any mortgage at all now. But when we had to have a larger mortgage because we didn't have the cash, we were looking, there were times where they would tell us, oh, you qualify for this much. And we were thinking, we can't pay half of that. And so we were always shopping in the range on houses of what we thought we could actually afford. Because if you borrow the absolute maximum the bank tells you can, then it'll be really hard to come up with any extra money to put on it.
yeah.
Although even then, if you do, after you're in, you should, when life gets adjust, then you should still be able to figure out a way to squeeze. And I just found, for me, it was really exciting as we were going, to realize after I paid a little more, to watch it going down and to watch the amount of interest each month go down and stuff like that. I started thinking, wow, we can knock this out completely. I don't know. I'm one of those people that likes to mow the lawn when it's a little extra long so I can see it, so I can see the progress really easily.
We cover every subject on this show, don't we?
Somebody said, I can't believe we're talking about bidets on living on a dime, but now I want one. Yeah. So Alicia, just tell your autistic son that it's a shower for his buns.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
I don't know. Honestly, I thought the kids would revolt. And now, well, BJ doesn't, but BJ wasn't living with us when we got it. He was already on his own. But the other 3 kids that were still at home, they just all love it. And Ellie got one for when she moved out. That was the first thing she bought for her new apartment, was she got a bidet, because she was like, oh, I just absolutely love this. So yeah, I mean, but we have saved money on toilet paper, and we have saved, our water bill it doesn't use that much water. I mean, I would say maybe it uses a cup of water at the most. I can't imagine.
Water's a lot cheaper than the paper.
Yeah, it's not a lot. So I really didn't think about it. And going back to the paying off the house thing, one thing people never think about when paying their house, they're like, well, I have to save for retirement, so I can't pay off my house. If you pay off your house, your living expenses are probably half if you have a house payment. So pay off your house, and then you won't have to have so much money saved up for retirement. So,
well, and the thing is, if you keep a mortgage all your life, then you're paying most of your housing expenses is just money going out the window.
yeah.
So you can put money towards, I'm not saying you shouldn't put money towards retirement because that's fine. And it is true that if you manage to do that as you go, it grows a lot if you do it right. But the thing on the house is that there's a lot of money you're paying every month that if you pay it off, you won't be ever paying that again. And then some people say, well, you still have to pay taxes. Yeah, but you don't have to pay principal and interest. And taxes, everyone has to pay taxes.
You're paying taxes anyway.
Pretty much everyone has to pay taxes. It's unavoidable unless you just don't own anything and don't live anywhere.
Yeah.
So, our thinking is control the things we can control. And one thing we can control is that huge amount of principal and interest on a mortgage. You don't have to pay. The other thing is, it's good to save for retirement. I don't want to discourage you to do that if you're doing that. We tend to look at things a lot differently. So what we would put the money in would probably be different than what a lot of people, like for instance, our business. But the thing I realized over the years is if you put a lot of money into retirement, and especially if it's in things that are tied to the stock market, like 401ks, then if there's some sort of disaster, a lot of the value of that can suddenly go in half or less.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually maybe it'll come back, but maybe not when you need it. But if you pay off debt you're paying every single month, and suddenly you have $800 or $1,000 less in bills, and the market goes crazy and everything drops on retirement, you still don't owe that debt anymore. So if you pay off the debt, it's gone for sure. If you save up in something that's tied to the stock market, then it may or may not be there. So I would rather pay off the debt first and then put it in those things. That way, if those things decline, you still don't have to deal with paying your house when you're having a catastrophe financially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So does the bidet? So our bidet only has cold. And I looked, and there is one that you can do with hot. Oh, is that? That's Jenny again. A deer. There is one that you can get and put warm water on it. Although I was realizing, as a person who does a lot of that stuff myself, that toilets have a cold water connection already, so it could be a 15-minute setup. But if you had to do hot water, you'd have to figure out a way to get the hot there. Of course, if you pay a plumber, then problem solved. Mm-hmm. But if you do it yourself, it would be kind of a little more complex, I think.
So Angel Fire says, love our outfits for coordinating. We did not do that on purpose, I don't think, did we? Or did you do that on purpose?
Well, I was already.
Oh, you did? Okay,
I was thinking, what kind of black thing can I wear since you're wearing?
Has anyone that you know of tried to resell your cookbooks online for more dollars when you're out of stock? So here's the thing. Yes, they do sell our cookbooks. We've seen them for $700 to $900 as a collector's item, which is ridiculous. But we are the only ones who sell our books. So if someone's going to resell them, they may have, like for our moving sale, someone could have gone and bought 500 books and then turned around and resold them on eBay or something, and that would have been fine. We did not ship out any orders that big. The biggest we shipped was one case to a lady a couple of times. To different people. But I mean, I don't care if they want to buy our books and resell them, go ahead. I think it's stupid for people to go pay $700 for our books, but if they want to pay $700, more power to them. So.
Well, I know we've had gift shops and things that would buy them when they're on sale. Like
we sell them wholesale if people want them.
Well, I was going to say they would buy them on sale and then sell them on retail, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
On the print books, but if the stores want to sell them, if they contact us, we usually do a wholesale, because then they don't have to pay sales tax. Mm-hmm. Because if you're a reseller, you generally don't have to pay sales tax, but we have to charge sales tax on people that are the end user. Mm-hmm. So it's true that some places have done that, which is fine, but they could save on sales tax if they contacted us directly. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know,
but it was funny because one time I think I'm not sure how it happened, but we think that maybe a thrift store listed the book for $700 or $800, and then a lot of other thrift stores saw it listed for that price. So then they all started marking theirs about that same price because they were thinking this must be some kind of crazy expensive thing. And the next thing we knew, like there were 8 listings on Amazon, all for $750.
So dumb.
And we're thinking, you can come to our website and it's $39.
Yeah. So Tapple says they say save up for emergency fund before paying off a house. I want to save them, pay off house with the money I saved. So okay, I'm not quite sure what that's saying,
Well, then she
but
says, who are they?
but
no,
here's our opinion on that. So before you pay off your house, you should have enough money in the bank to pay cash for a car if your car just completely poops out.
But not an
Now,
expensive car, just a car.
However
Sorry.
much you spend on a car, for us, it was $5,000, and then we moved it up to $10,000. But however much you want to spend on a car, you should have at least that amount of money. So if your refrigerator dies or your washer or dryer dies, then you can pay cash for those things and not have to take out a loan on them. Then I would also suggest at least 2 to 3 months worth of living expenses saved up before you pay off your house. Because if you get laid off from your job or whatever, then you don't have to go into more debt to keep yourself floating before you pay off your house. So get yourself an emergency fund first. It doesn't have to be $50,000, but I would save at least $10,000, at least 10 to 15 in an emergency fund so that you can pay your expenses for a couple of months and a new car if you need to. Now, for us, we usually don't spend more than, well, normally we don't spend more than $3,500 on a car, but now we're looking at more expensive cars because we have more money and cars are more expensive right now. But if cars come down, we'll probably, get something in the $10,000 range, maybe. But we do recommend that you have an emergency fund before paying off your house. So yeah.
Well, I'd like to keep talking, but were we needing to go somewhere for your mom's thing?
Yeah, well, it's all online, but yeah.
Okay.
Is your front door? No,
What is
it's the
that?
studio lights.
Yeah, but what's this?
That's
Oh no,
the
that's
door.
that's this.
Water thing.
That's your
Oh
your
no!
doodad.
Here, it's my good deal I got at the thrift store. So here you go. Ooh, North Yorkshire. Hello, Nicola. So this is my cute
Wait,
little
where?
spice rack I got right here.
Oh,
So
we
that's what
love
that
North
is.
Yorkshire.
So we were there 2 years ago and we really liked it.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, 35% off all of our print books right now for pre-ordering, 35% off. Grab it while it's on sale. We expect them around September 25th. I know it says the 15th, but I think it's going to be delayed. That was tentative. We had a problem with a printing issue. And
We're waiting to hear from the printer the final information, but that's our estimate based on what they've told us.
Yeah. So we are off to go look at a contract, hopefully to sign for Mom, and hopefully they will accept it. We'll see. So will we report on Jill's house before next week? Probably not. I already have video scheduled, so we probably won't. So sorry.
But I'm sure we'll talk about it on the live show, however it went.
So, well, maybe, yeah, I don't know what we'll do with that. I'll see if I can work it in. I'll try and work it in. I don't have one video totally edited yet, so I might be able to do that, but we'll see.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Sorry about the fajitas.
Livingonadime.com.